僕の皆さん、私は自身芸術の先生ではありません。皆さんに望むところは、皆さんも大いに自分自身を開拓して素晴らしい人間像を。
Hello, so I was in Munich a couple months back and I was talking to my girl Carla and we were talking about how her wallet was falling apart, blah 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 blah. I ended up telling her I would like to get her an LV wallet because I, a gorgeous person that I am, wanted to get her something but not just another wallet that she doesn't care about, another wallet that's just purely utilitarian. I want to get her a wallet that she will also enjoy owning. So I wanted her friends to be jealous of her because she's just 15, 16. Anyway, I went in to get her this wallet and then I remembered that I wanted to get my girl, my partner, a Neverfull bag. So I was like, okay, just let's get it. There was no special occasion. It was just a random Tuesday. Neverfull, it's a classic piece, relatively hold their value well. I went in with the thought of getting her just a classic. So how did I go from just wanting to get a classic to getting the thing you see in the title and thumbnail, which is the Yayoi Kusama collab? So they assigned me, when I went to LV, they assigned me this grumpy old gentleman. I could tell he was judging me or he was having a bad day, whatever reason it was. He was not in a good mood. He was helping me at this counter and then this lovely LV worker, this woman, she put a Yayoi collab on her table. So I said to the gentleman, to the grumpy gentleman, I was like, hey, do you guys have any Yayoi collab left? And then he said, no, we sold out months ago. And then I was like, I see one right there. That woman, she just pulled out one. And then he was like, yeah, but that's not available. I'm like, okay, sure. And then I was like, I don't trust this guy. I knew he was being a dick. So I went to this other lovely woman. I was like, hey, is that one available for me to purchase? She's like, of course it's available for you. The only reason I went through with the purchase was my thought process was, it's to LV, it's not to him. If this was a mom and pop shop and they treated me this badly, I would have just walked out and not buy anything. I would not want my money to go to that person. I'm sure you've all had terrible shopping experience at these high-end stores. Tell me in the comment. I would love to read it because I know this is not a rare occasion. I know this happens every day and happens to everyone, especially people my age who these rich stores don't take seriously yet because they just don't think we can afford it. Anyway, okay, story over. Let's talk about the bag now. So I walked in with the thought of getting a regular Neverfull and I got the Kusama collab. Beautiful, beautiful bag. So this is the Neverfull in the most popular size, which is MM, and also the most correct size in my opinion. GM is a bit too big, PM is a bit too small. If you want to get a Neverfull, get the MM. It's beautiful, the size is perfect. And what you're about to see is just a snippet of
Yayoi Kusama. Yayoi was born in 1929 in Matsumoto, Japan. She grew up in quite a wealthy family. When Yayoi was about 10 years old, she started to have hallucinations. This means that she began to see things that were not there, or see things differently, like flashes of light, colours, and even shapes. One day, she had the most magical dream that she was standing in a field of flowers. The flowers started talking to her, and they all turned to dots that went on as far as she could see. At first she was a little bit frightened of them, but then she became inspired by these dreams and started to use polka dots in her artwork. Her parents didn't really approve of her being an artist, and her mum used to take away her drawings. In 1948, she attended the Kyoto Municipal School of Arts and Crafts. It was a time when art students were not allowed to study or learn about Western culture, so she could only study the traditional Japanese method of Nihongo, which is 1,000 years old. Despite studying this Japanese method of art, she soon realised that her passion was for contemporary art and had a bucket load of her own ideas, which involved polka dots. Yayoi gathered sheets of paper and started painting dots of all colours and sizes. Then she progressed on painting onto floors, walls, objects, and even her assistant. In 1957, she moved to the United States and settled in New York City, where she quickly gained recognition as a prominent figure in the avant-garde scene. Avant-garde is the new and experimental ideas in art, music, and also literature. In 1965, Kusama begins to create her iconic Infinity Mirror Rooms, which is a series of immersive installations that use mirrors and light to create an endless illusion of space. In 1973, Kusama returns to Japan. She enters herself into hospital to help look after her mental health. Her artistic style has heavily been inspired by her own experiences with mental health. She has struggled throughout her life and has used her art as a form of therapy and self-expression.
I would recommend searching her name up in Google, read a few of her interviews, learn her story, her perspective, learn why she does the things she does. I think you will appreciate her art and her work more if you get to know her. Out of all the collab with Yayoi with regard to the Neverfull, I think this is the best version. The other versions are great, but the dots, they made the stuck-up, utilitarian, elitist, class-showing bag that is the Neverfull into a more fun, into a more carefree bag. The dots, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, the dots. So I really like how playful it is. I'm a big fan. My partner is a big fan. So here's what LV has to say about the dot. It's not simply printed. You can feel it. So let's talk about the looks. The 3D process really made the dots look as though it's wet paint, which is, what they were trying to get. I love it. Prior to getting it, I thought of just flat screen printed, but to be able to see it, to be able to feel it, it was a great experience. The B-roll that you've been seeing should have shown off the wet look. Also, each dot is rather unique. It's not a perfect circle. So really trying to sell the look of Kusama sitting in her studio applying these dots individually, which is just an amazing detail. With regard to the feel, it is 3D. You can sense this part being a bit thicker, this part being a bit thinner. It's such a great detail. If you had the choice of a regular Neverfull versus the Kusama, get the Kusama bag. It costs a bit more, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's so unique. With regard to the LV canvas underneath, I'm a big fan of the monogram canvas. This was designed by Georges Vuitton in 1896 or 1897. He did it in memory of his father, the founder of Louis Vuitton. So there are other prints that LV does, but this is my favorite or second favorite. I don't believe LV was the first to ever done the repeating motif and then with their logo. Practically every brand has it. When I think of a monogram canvas, I think of LV. Similar how to, there are a lot of religions, but Christianity is the most popular. Now you may throw at me like, oh, the Muslim population is far higher than Christianity. So to that, I would say, what year are we living in? Why is it 2024? One more story. I'm so sorry this video is so story driven, but it's okay. So the reason I got this from my partner, it was a year prior to this, I went in to get her an LV wallet because, again, similar situation. Her wallet was falling apart. I want her to own something nice, blah, 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 blah. So after we got her the wallet, I told her to try on the Neverfull because I just think every grown, classy adult woman should own a Neverfull because it's such a useful everyday bag. So I asked the worker, hey, can my partner try on the Neverfull? And she tried it on. I remember her expression. She was very happy when she had it on. Once again, they come in 3 different sizes. I would recommend getting the MM. I think it's the best. Here's what you could store in there. Though this Neverfull falls under a tote bag, and most tote bags, they don't have any compartment, I love the fact that Neverfull came with a pouch, and then you also get this small compartment with the zipper, so you can store documents or something more important that you might not want to clutter in there because, with a tote bag, you're just constantly searching for things. So it's good. It's good that it came with one compartment and then the pouch. So, I think the pouch is more so for like coins and cash. Handles. I am not a big fan of this handle, and I will tell you why. They have reduced the width, so it's rather on the thin side. They also don't sit that great on the shoulder. I haven't worn these longer than 10 minutes, but I would imagine after 5 hours, you will feel the leather digging into the shoulder because they do have sharp edges. It's not particularly circular, so it doesn't sit too well on your shoulder. So I would imagine that my partner will have a hard time spending 10 hours with it, and then the more stuff you gather to put into the back door, the heavier it gets. Aesthetically, it is fine. The handle, it's fine. It's inoffensive. It's not a talking point. It's just purely functional. Kusama and LV could have done was that to change the shape right here to a famous pumpkin, which is what they did to the interior logo. I think that would have been a nice touch. I like the hint of red. It's cute. The yellow stitching is also a nice touch. I think all of the Neverfull have yellow stitching. They could have changed the stitching to red, so you know, to associate it with the Kusama red dots, which is her most famous red dot. You do get these size laces to cinch the back in. However, that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about are the D-rings at the end, which is great because I can do this. This is my Stefan Cook strap that I love. My partner loved it so much, she stole mine, so I had to get a second one. It was on sale. It's not a bad investment. I can sell if I want to. It's fine. Anyway, I really appreciate these handles or side laces. I would have loved a couple more, like, you know, just D-rings on its own, so then when you do strap it up, it doesn't change the shape too much. It doesn't stress the handle too much or the bag, because, you know, it's a tote bag. It's gonna sag over time. I think LV should give us all of what they already give us, and then just the shoulder strap. I think that would have been a great detail. If they do that, you can advertise this as a crossbody as well. Removable zip pouch. I love this pouch. Honestly, it's its own wallet. I can totally use this as its own wallet. However, I believe the idea is that for you to put coins or cash in there, it doesn't have any like card slots, so I think that's why it's not that useful. Organization is a big problem with a tote bag. While I was in Munich, Carla was looking for a pencil case, and I suggested them, why don't we just use this as a pencil case? And then they both yell at me like, are you crazy? This thing is expensive. I'm not gonna put dirty pen and pencil in there. Ugh, poor people and their terrible mindset disgust me. The lack of studs on the bottom or feet to protect the bag from the environment. I think this is a big miss, a big miss. Let's say you go out in public and you're sitting on a bench, you put your bag down, and then you just realize that it's wet. If you had the studs, if you had the feet, it would protect most of the bag from touching all of the water, but since this doesn't, it's gonna, you know, get wet. I understand canvas is waterproof, blah 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 blah, but this coloration does happen. So let's say it's not water, let's say it's dirt, you know, when you put it on a dirty ground or dirty seat, dirty bench, whatever. If you had the feet or the stud, it would really help. All Louis Vuitton bag manufactured since 1991 make use of its heritage gold brass hardware with the LV logo. It is okay, I can't say extremely. It is low quality to me. It's light, it feels hollow, which is probably for their profit margin. These hardware, they feel cheap, but they look expensive, which is the perfect description of most people who walk on Bond Street, Fifth Avenue, Beverly Hills. Look expensive, but probably wearing a fake bag or wearing a real bag with logo DOT, sneaker with logo, and they definitely tag the brand of their sunglasses when they post photos on Instagram, which is, you know, if you know anything about the sunglass industry, it's a monopoly. Every brand is owned by this shitty brand, Luxottica. So the prices are high for a reason, because they can. They own like 60-75% of the market. However, if I were to be a person working for LV with the PR department, I would say, Mr. Tan, I saw your video. You know, we made these hardware lighter because we want the bag to be as light as possible so the wearer doesn't experience too much stress on their shoulder. To that I say, use better material. So by the way, that was my little audition for LV PR. Please hire me. I'm good at spinning, you know, that's my point. Rationally speaking though, LV, you are not Apple. You are not making laptops. It's a bag. It can be heavy. It's okay. Zippers. Smooth, but makes this really harsh sound, which I fucking love. I am not a fan of the weight of the zipper. Again, it feels cheap, not great to the touch. I like LV to look into Ricagni. Big, strong, bright. God, I love Ricagni. Please sponsor me. This bag is made in Spain. If I'm correct, Louis Vuitton has factories in 3 countries, the US, France, and Spain. If you ever encounter a person that says, oh, made in France is better than this, made in America is better, no, it's not. That's your opinion. That's not a fact. I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you own 2 sweatshops full of starving American children and they're making hoodies, right? You're gonna give them the same template. You're gonna give them the same standard quality control. Why would you say, hey, you can make this shittier, you know, and the other guy, hey, you gotta make it really good. If it's bad, throw it out. No, because you're gonna pull it together into one place. So what if a person bought 2 hoodies and one is shit quality, one is good quality? They're gonna question your quality controls. Material, PVC and vachetta leather. As mentioned above, Louis Vuitton bags are made from a combination of polyvinyl chloride, PVC, and vachetta leather. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. PVC is cotton canvas coated with PVC, a durable plastic coated material used for the external body of the bag. Vachetta leather is a soft, natural cowhide leather used for the trimming, zip tag, strap, and handle. These materials complement each other elegantly, but can also be thought as opposite in terms of their physical property. You know, the canvas, it's sturdy, water resistant, whereas the vachetta leather, it's very susceptible to water stain and discoloration. And the reason why it's mostly canvas is that, you know, it's an everyday type of thing, and cost saving as well, it's not as expensive. Anyway, canvas is good for longevity, that's why they use it. Vachetta leather, it will age very nicely if you never wear them. Once you do, they darken super quickly, especially if they touch any form of water, whether it's sweat, rain, or snow. I understand that patina is great, but blah 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 blah, it's a bit uneven for me. The patinaing, it's a really big bother for me because you see some parts that are extra dark brown and then some parts are still vachetta beige. Lining, microfiber lining. The special detail that they did with this collab is the print. If you look closely, you can see a series of red polka dots. It goes from small to big, then big to small, then small to big, then big to small, then small to big. The pattern repeats itself. The dry matted nature of the unsanded suede feeling give me a strong belief that the lining will last a long time if I do spill water in there, if I put makeup, if I put whatever in there. Something that will get it dirty, it'll be easy to clean because it's just, you know, cotton, very easy to clean. Retail price on a regular Neverfull at the moment of this filming is $2,100, and I believe the Kusama collab was about $27 or $28. I think the $500, $600 more, I think it's worth it. Get the Kusama collab if you can, they are superior. And you know, with regard to brands such as Chanel, Hermes, LV, they don't go on sale, so get them while you can because they will increase the price every quarter of the year. So, and you know, they hold up their value, especially with the Kusama collabs, with special collaborations. They appreciate in values on top of holding its value. The sad part about long distance relationship is the lack of time together. I knew what I signed up for when I got into it. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, I would already be in Munich living with my partner. I do feel bad though, but we both kind of chose this life. You know, love is a hard emotion to conquer. It's a bit easier to give up and give in to the emotions and just let the heart want what's the heart want. Ideally, she would have dated someone in Munich. Ideally, I would have dated someone in Moscow. But love is love is love is love is love. After getting the Neverfull for my girl, after learning about Kusama, after researching for this video, I've grown to really appreciate her work. I relate to her a lot because I do suffer from depression, existential crisis, and anxiety. So I do relate to her, and I do have suicidal thoughts here and there, but not those suicide thoughts where I'm like, oh, I'm sad, my life sucks, I want to, more like existential suicidal thoughts where I'm just like, if I live to be 90, I'm gonna die anyway. Whatever I make right now, give it enough time, nothing is gonna hold up, you know. I'm a very existential person. I also suffer from anxiety and depression, already said that, but you know, it's the usual mental problem that a lot of us in the current culture / climate / way of living, I think a lot of us suffer from anxiety, depression, suicidal thought because of our society. So Kusama, she feels free when she creates her art. I feel free when I watch porn. It's very relatable. I believe in 10 years this bag will be worth around 5K, 6K, 7K. I will tell my partner to take care of a little bit in case her and I fall on hard time. Her and I, we have lived a very pampered life. So when we get out there into the real world, we're going to be two children with a lot of responsibility. It's going to be new. I'm somewhat scared, but I also know that I'm a hard worker and she's also a hard worker. So it's fine. That's future Makasy problem. Right now, we have a beautiful bag in front of us. Hopefully you enjoy watching this video. Hopefully I helped to answer some questions you may have. If you still have more questions, comment down below. I will respond to it with the best of my ability. They will only go up this bag. Buy it now if you can. Ich bin Makasy. Bis bald, Mrs. John.